Good evening and welcome to the 13th meeting of the 145th Council of the Corporation of the City of St. Thomas. Our first order of business is appointment of the presiding officer. Just need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Gibson, that Council appoint Councillor Baldwin Sands as presiding officer for this meeting of Council. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion is passed. Your Worship.
Thank you. Our first item is any disclosures of interest. Seeing none, we'll move forward with the minutes.
I have a motion that the minutes of the meeting held on May 5th, 2025 be confirmed.
Peters.
Moved by Councillor Peters, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That item carries. Our next item is deputation. I would like to welcome the Hospice of Elgin, Brenda Fleming, Executive Director, to the podium, please.
Good afternoon, Chairperson Baldwin Sands and members of Council. I'm Brenda Fleming. I'm the Executive Director of Hospice of Elgin. And with me today is Robert Furneaux, the Chair of our Hospice Board. I'm sure many of you already know Robert. As you can see, there's several members of our incredible Board of Directors that have also joined us in the gallery today. First and foremost, on behalf of all of us, welcome to the cottage.
We're delighted to share a few more of the highlights of the remarkable progress in bringing hospice, both our facility and our support services, to everyone in Elgin County. Today, hospice is known as a construction site more than it is a hub of care, which it will transition into in only a few short months. Tucked away in the woods, overlooking Waterworks Park, on precious land that was so generously donated by the City of St. Thomas and this caring council. A place we're enormously proud of, and to say that this will become the heart of hospice. Cottages are traditional places where family and friends gather, an opportunity to connect with nature, where life slows down, to focus on what matters most, and spending time with those you love. At hospice, our noble purpose is to ensure those moments are not only possible, but matter. All the while, exceptional heartfelt care for individuals and their families at end of life.
When people hear the words end of life and the care associated with it, it can feel heavy, overwhelming, and even downright scary. Though if you'll kindly bear with us for just a few moments, perhaps we can ease some of those perceptions and alter your perspective. There's so much more to this part of life than most people realize. Much love, joy, and even moments of laughter can happen at hospice. So we hope our presentation today anchors end-of-life care in a whole new light for each of you, so much so that you're moved to share this message with others. For many, just thinking about hospice may bring up images of hushed voices, dim lighting, and a general feeling of gloom and foreboding. But here's the thing, Hospice of Elgin is not just about care in the final days of life's journey, it's about the heart of living. It's about making every moment matter, wrapping people in comfort and surrounding them with care, love, and yes, even a little bit of humor. Hospice of Elgin is about treating people not as a diagnosis or a timeline, but as a full, vibrant, unique human being with stories to tell, favorite songs to sing, and strong opinions about what makes the perfect cup of coffee or bowl of soup. It's a place where all the little things truly matter and remain cherished. Perhaps it's the shared memory, an assuring or comforting touch of the hand, or that one humorous inside story that makes everybody laugh. It's where families can just be families, not nurses, not caregivers, not visitors, but just together. Slide.
Yep, there you go. Creating an environment where individuals can live their best life to the end of life would not have been possible without the extreme generous gift of nature-bound land the cottage now rests on, and the financial support which influenced others to become part of our capital campaign. While we've shared this before, it bears repeating. Thank you. To everyone around this council table, and to all the residents and taxpayers of the City of St. Thomas for these most transformative gifts. Now on to some exciting updates on our way to be completing Elgin County's first hospice.
I get the fun part, the review. So most, if not all of you, have seen this floor plan before, although we wanted to briefly revisit not only the what, but the how Hospice of Elgin will lead and innovate in palliative care as we open our doors. Both the design and the layout of our facility have been carefully and strategically tailored to support the diverse needs of our unique community. The cottage has been designed around 4 specific functional areas. And although it's really hard to see on the screen, I'll just walk you really quickly through. Our in-facility residence with 10 private suites is in beige to the right. The palliative care clinical hub is in the light purple. This hub will serve 400 to 500 palliative individuals and their families each year on an outpatient or day hospice basis. Services such as grief and bereavement, pain and symptom management, and day programming for those wishing to remain at home will all be offered from the hub, supported by a professional hospice team and local integrated partners. The heart of our hospice is in green in the middle of the facility. This is where spaces for our residents and families come to feel at home or in a cottage-like environment. And lastly, in the blue and yellow, landing spaces for our dedicated staff, care team, and volunteers. Hospice is in the process of creating over 30 new staff opportunities in clinical, psychosocial, and holistic care, community engagement, and fundraising, and of course, administrative and executive support. We're also recruiting some 200 volunteers to help with reception, landscaping, food services, and many, many other aspects of care and support.
We invite you to take a moment to think about how far this community investment has come in such a short period of time. This picture was taken 12 months ago when construction was just getting underway. Even at this very early stage, you can see how nature and the concept of a cottage in the woods was forming. Of note, and part of this early site work, the walking trail around the perimeter of the site has been preserved and well on its way to being enhanced for all to enjoy for generations to come. At the request of city staff, additional parking has now been added on site for visitors to continue to enjoy the trails and all that nature has to offer. When the land was donated, we were also mindful that the domain of the building should be anchored in much of the existing clearing. With careful planning and design, we were able to successfully and respectfully build the cottage in such a way to minimize the loss of existing trees. In the same respect for nature, hospice will be planting an additional 40 trees once construction is complete, further enhancing the leafy canopy the site so beautifully rests in. We've taken to calling this environmental initiative our way of further wrapping nature's arms around those we care for and support.
So this is a more recent photo of the front of the cottage. You can see the stonework being completed and the massive timber structures welcoming all to feel safe and protected within the envelope of our space. This timber framing is found throughout the heart of our hospice in such a natural way of bringing the outside in, extending from the front entrance through to the heart of the cottage and extending through to the covered patio, courtyard, and serene garden spaces on the opposite side. And you can see here is a close-up of the front entrance before the glass doors went in, and then the picture of the glass doors looking out towards the back, towards the park. And once again, you can see and feel the warmth and comfort and strength that those timbers create. Our front entrance will be a large double door system made entirely of glass, allowing beams of natural light to flood the heart of hospice. Views of the outside from the inside of the cottage is an intentional design feature throughout our facility. Careful attention to this detail has been made to ensure every space is filled with those natural elements such as light, wood, and stone, bringing nature inside and bringing with it the calming presence of nature which surrounds us from the outside. This is a visual of our residence suite with large patio doors and windows. The oversized windows will provide those in bed with wonderful views to feel the warmth of sunshine on their face, to watch birds and other wildlife in their natural habitat, and to enjoy the changing seasons with everything special that they bring. The trail that Robert mentioned that wraps around the perimeter of the site and into the park is also visible from the residence suite. One of the most important and vital pieces of hospice infrastructure is our special full-feature beds. Here's a photo of the beds we've chosen with both our residents and their loved ones in mind, the Cuddle Bed. These beds not only come with additional safety features to prevent falls and ensure heightened comfort, they also extend to allow loved ones to cuddle together. They're also uniquely designed to be piloted outside through those double doors that you see on the left and into the private patios adjacent to each suite. Each suite will also be equipped with 2 smart TVs, a mini fridge, and a pull-out sofa, all important amenities for both our residents and their families. Here's a sneak peek of what the most recent construction looks like on the inside. On the left is our dining space, and on the right is our exterior front entrance. We're getting very, very close to doors open, and we're on target to receive our first resident sometime later in July. We're incredibly excited to welcome our community into this beautiful and unique space that's been made possible through the passion for enhanced palliative care and long overdue end-of-life care within Elgin County. Today's briefing touches just on a few of the special features we've been crafted into our build, and there's so many other surprises in store to share once we're able to host our community at large. Our entire team hopes this brief glimpse warms your hearts, provides greater clarity of the project and services you've so generously invested in as our partner, and what this endeavor means for everyone in our community.
As construction crews finalize our facility, our leadership team, including Dr. Kira Harris-Schultz, our medical director, is heads down recruiting physicians, staff, and volunteers and developing systems in process in prep for doors open. These are the unique and special people who will carry an endless supply of calm, compassion, and knowledge. They will do it all: soothe worries, support families, and create an environment and culture where dignity, choice, and joy remain front and center, even on the toughest days. This all started as a hope and a dream. It's now a reality for our community, a new community service built by our community for our community. Kindly remember and cherish, none of this would have been possible without you. Leadership from you and others was not only important, but critical to the developmental success of Hospice of Elgin to date. Our project financial needs, under the unpredictable stresses and challenges of an ever-shifting economy, grew to $17 million, with an additional $1.6 million required for furniture and equipment. Over 1,100 donors have contributed to hospice. That's 1,100 individuals, businesses, and organizations which have vested with their hearts and expressed by way of their generous donations and pledges that they're behind us all the way. Today, we're about $1 million shy of our doors open goal. While we've not yet achieved our critical target, we're confident we'll get there with the amazing support of our greater Elgin community, hopefully during the public phase of our capital campaign, which was launched earlier this month. In closing, if there is only one takeaway from today, we hope it's that hospice is not about saying goodbye. It's about saying all the things that matter. The I love yous, the thank yous, the I am sorry, I forgive you, and so much more. Think of hospice as a place and care where loved ones continue to grow, where people are honored and stories are held close, and everybody is reminded just how deeply they're loved. In the coming days, through your city manager, Lisa Higgs, We'll be sharing an invitation for all members of council to tour the site with us and experience firsthand the impact of this incredible and heartfelt support of this amazing community. We hope that you'll be able to join us in the celebration of what we've been able to accomplish together. Again, thank you for your time today and your unwavering support. And do we have time for some questions?
Thank you so very much for your presentation, and thank you everyone for being here. I will now take questions from the floor, comments as well. Councillor Herbert, please.
Through the chair. Well, what a great presentation. This is a great time for the city of St. Thomas. When I look at all your volunteers who have worked hard to get this done, I know we've talked about it many years and you guys have worked so hard. I mean, you have a great team. You had to succeed with that quality of people backing you up. So it's always frustrating for me to read a friend of mine passed away in Woodstock. Like we need to have our own hospice, our own cottage. I like that, cottage, for residents of St. Thomas. So once again, congratulations to you and all your team. I mean, they should be very, very proud today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. First, Councillor Peters and then Councillor Clark, please.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. Two questions. One, did the county ever make a contribution to the project? Second question is, I know the estate of Marianne Barry made a significant contribution to the project on behalf of the Barry family, and I'm just curious how the Barrys will be recognized in the project. Thanks very much, Madam Chair.
Great. Great questions, Councillor Peters, and we appreciate them very much. We're still in conversations and discussions with Elgin County Council relative to their support, and again, relative to about 60% of the service load that we would be taking from residents of Elgin County. Unfortunately, we're not at the point where we can share that we are equal partners in this, but that does not mean that within time, we will be able to bring them on as the partnership that the city of St. Thomas has shown us. With respect to the Barry estate, there will be further news coming on that front. They have the estate has been a very big part of our campaign, and that will definitely show in what you will be hearing about relative to their participation in our hospice.
And I'll just add to that, as Robert mentioned in the presentation, we've just launched our public campaign as of the 1st of May. So throughout the next 8 weeks, you'll be hearing a number of stories about the number of our donors and their why hospice is important to them, why giving back and being part of the journey of hospice and joining us in that journey has been so important. So there will be more to come over the next 8 weeks, and please follow us on social media, and you'll see the stories. I'll go live there at a regular cadence, and you'll get to learn more about all the great supporters we have.
Thank you. Councillor Clark, please.
Thanks. I just wanted to note the recent donation. Maybe it was a kickoff to your public campaign from the Sisters of St. Joseph in London, and that incredible gift, legacy of all the work that they've done for over 120 years in St. Thomas.
Definitely.
Absolutely. We're very, very, very grateful for that gift, and they remain a very strategic partner and a sponsor of our organization as we move forward.
Thank you for those comments. Is there anything further from council? Councillor Wookey, please.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I was just sharing with Brenda before our meeting started that my father-in-law passed away in March at the hospice in Chatham. And the experience was outstanding for the entire family. And Brenda and Robert aren't kidding when they say it's about the whole family. And there was singing and there was the good times there. And it was such a positive experience that it really warmed my heart. And as you know, I just think it's wonderful that we're going to have the same thing in St. Thomas. So thank you to the whole organization for, and as you mentioned, Brenda, this is not just about end-of-life care. This is about, helping take pressure off the hospital, GPs, family members on a day-to-day basis. So for all those, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for those comments. Is there anything further from the members of the council? Then thank you so very, very much for your presentation, and thank you so very much for being here. And I thank once again the gallery for showing up and showing us the need for the hospice in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Council will now resolve itself into committee of the whole to deal with the following business. First item under Strategic Direction and Development Committee is declaration of surplus property for the Scott Street properties. I have a motion that report PRF 1825 relating to the declaration of surplus property for the Scott Street properties be received for information, and further that council declare the Scott Street properties as indicated in report PRF 1825 to be surplus to the city of St. Thomas. Moved by Councillor Wookey, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That item carries. Next item, please.
Next two items relate to notices from the Committee of Adjustment relating to public meetings taking place on June 12th at 10 a.m. The first one is for a minor variance by Eric Graham to permit a maximum of 7 dwelling units at 42 Pearl Street, whereas the R4 zone permits a maximum of 6 dwelling units. And the second one relates to a minor variance application by the city to permit buildings and structures in the general vicinity of the St. Thomas Municipal Airport to penetrate the outer surface to a maximum elevation of 340 meters, 290 meters, and 270 meters above sea level at the Yarmouth Yards development in a step-down fashion. Your Worship, unless there are any further items from the members for strategic direction and development, we'll now move into community engagement and services. First item relates to the Ryan Davies project relating to Lake Margaret area water safety. I'm just split up the recommendations into two. The first is that report PRF 1525 relating to the Ryan Davies project, Lake Margaret area water safety, be received for information, and further that council directs staff to proceed with the design and installation of Lake Margaret waterfront entrance and exit signage. Moved by Councillor Wookey, seconded by Councillor Clark. Thank you.
Questions or comments? Councillor Herbert, please.
Thank you, through the chair. Well, when I began to read the report, I thought this is a great idea. And then I get down to the bottom and there's so many legal things that are involved with this. I just was amazed that somebody wants to do something good with the boys. And yet article after article said, no, we're liable for everything. It just amazed me. I thought it was a good idea. And I don't know, I just can't personally say I would not support it if it needed to be supported. I think it's wrong to say we can't put them around because 800 people are going to sue you for something, because legally you can't do it. So just my opinion.
Is there anything further for the committee? Councillor Peters, please. You're on mute, Councillor Peters.
Thank you. Sorry, Madam Chair. Just from the clerk. So we're not speaking about boys right now. We're just talking about receiving the report and proceeding with design. Boys is the next topic.
Your Worship, yes. So we're just dealing with the design and installation of signage as well. Yes.
Okay, I'll wait till we have the next resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Then calling the question, all those in favor to receive the report? That motion carries. Next item.
The recommendation contained within report PRF 1525 was recommending that council not proceed with the development of the personal flotation device and ring buoys around Lake Margaret because council always proceeds with the resolutions in the positive. The motion reads that council proceed with the development of a personal flotation device bylaw and the installation of ring buoys around Lake Margaret.
Mover and seconder, please.
Moved by Councillor Gibson, second by
Peters.
Councillor Peters. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Councillor Peters, please.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. I want to speak in support of this, notwithstanding the way the report is written. I have been to countless hotels, resorts, beaches, and I just think that anything that we can do to help potentially save a life is something that we should do. And notwithstanding the concerns that have been expressed, I do support the installation of a series of buoys around Lake Margaret. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you for your comments. Is there anything further from members of the committee? Councillor Clark, please.
I was just wondering if we could get some further comment on how this project would differ from the exposure you have if you put a defibrillator in an arena, or whether when you put, as Councillor Peters mentioned, you go to Port Stanley and there's rings at the bottom of the lifeguards chairs and things like that. And how do those other communities, how are they able to support themselves legally, and how do we do it with arena and things that we put in there?
Thank you. We'll request the author of the report. Mr. Bray, come forward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Councillor Clark. The defibrillators are always in place, so we understand they're there. Staff are trained on them. There's directions within the defibrillators how to use them. Through legal counsel, they've recommended that if we are providing these ring buoys and the public expect them there, we have to ensure that they're always available. There's also, from what I've got from our insurance provider and legal counsel, there's limited abilities given the size of the lake that the ring buoys would actually be effective. If the person is from me to Madam Chair, you'd have to be a trained lifeguard to be able to throw a ring buoy that far. And so there's that ability too. And also the size of the lake, staggering them so they're always available. That was a concern of legal counsel as well. So there's just the constant maintenance to make sure they are available and they are in a working condition. I'm not sure that addresses your concern.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Wookey, please.
Thanks, Madam Chair. It says that I'm reading the motion here, the council proceed with the development of personal flotation device bylaw and the installation of ring buoys. I mean, I personally would like the personal flotation device bylaw, but I understand what you're saying about the ring buoys. So to me, I would like it to be the first, but not necessarily the second. But that's just how I feel about that one. And so I have a challenge here then on voting, because on a personal level, I'm in favor of one and not really the other. Thank you.
Is there anything further from the members of the committee?
Recorded vote, please.
Recorded vote has been called. Seeing no further discussion, recorded vote, please.
Councillor Clark,
Yes.
Councillor Gibson,
No.
Councillor Herbert,
No.
Councillor Kohler,
No.
Councillor Peters,
Yes.
Councillor Taylor,
Yes.
Councillor Wookey,
Yes.
Your Worship,
Yes.
and the motion is passed that council proceed with the development of a personal flotation device bylaw and the installation of ring buoys around Lake Margaret. Your worship, next item of business is the Nostalgia Nights Car Show 2025, request for a road closure. I have a motion that report ES 1525 relating to the Nostalgia Nights Car Show be received for information, and further the council authorize the closure of the road sections identified within report ES 1525 on Saturday, July the 12th, 2025, between the hours of 12 p.m. and 10 p.m. to allow for the Nostalgia Nights Car Show. Moved by Councillor Wookey, seconded by Councillor Kohler.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That item carries. Next item, please.
Unless there are any further items from the members for this committee, we'll now move into infrastructure and civic operations. First item relates to the Fairview Avenue rehabilitation and bridge removal tender. I have a motion that report ES 1425 relating to tender 2025-022 relating to Fairview Avenue rehabilitation and bridge removal be received for information, and further that tender 2025-022 be awarded to Briex Construction Incorporated in the amount of $4,849,931 excluding HST. Moved by Councillor Wookey, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments? Councillor Gibson first, then Councillor Clark, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just wondering if there's a timeline. I didn't see one mentioned here in the report, so I just thought maybe if they had something that they had in mind.
Welcome, Mr. DeLebeck.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through you to Councillor Gibson. The project is anticipated to start in June and be completed in the fall, October of 2025. Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Clark.
No, thank you. The project mentions the, where is it here? The ability for the provision of future active transportation options. And I know we had a preliminary discussion about that. And I'm just wondering at what point in the project would we entertain further discussion about bike lanes and active transportation on the portion from Talbot to Warehouse?
Through the chair to Councillor Clark. So the provision is basically allowing any type of future facility, whatever that might be, to be installed without having to do a lot of rework. So we made sure that we pushed the sidewalks far enough away, if that's the case. I made sure the pedestrian tunnel was long enough or wide enough so we wouldn't have to revisit those pieces. The rest of, like I think you're referring to between Talbot and Warehouse, though that section, its ultimate configuration would be determined once we revisit the rest of Fairview Avenue. Whenever we bring that back and have that discussion with council on what that should look like in the future is the time that we will address the active transportation component in phase one at the same time. But the point is that we're making sure we don't have to do a lot of rework, whatever that decision might be.
Follow up, Councillor Clark.
Sure. So that I'm clear, then when it's repaved in a few months, it will be the same number of lanes as it is now, or will it be an extra lane? There won't be bike paths at this time, is what I hear what you're saying.
Through the chair to Councillor Clark, that's correct. There is no active transportation being installed at this point in time, just allowing for it for in the future when we do figure out how we want to do that.
Councillor Peters, please.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. To Kevin, Kevin, will there be security lighting within the interior of the pedestrian tunnel?
Through the chair to Councillor Peters, we are installing the electrical infrastructure to provide for the lighting, but at this time, since the tunnel will not be in use, I believe it's to be barricaded at the ends, I think, at this point. Is that true? We haven't decided that part yet, but to deter unwanted use, We'll probably look at the ability to keep it gated. But when it is in use, we have the electrical infrastructure being installed now so that we can have the lights turned on whenever we want to do that.
Thank you. Anything further, Councillor Peters? Thank you. Councillor Wookie, please.
Thanks, Madam Chair. A couple of questions and a comment. This is a big project. This is going to disrupt things a great deal. We need to do it, but it's going to be a real pain for everybody everywhere. How far back is it going to be affected? So I say this selfishly because I grow to Briarwood, like a lot of people. So, but in each direction, where will things kind of cut off for the construction? I guess it really only matters heading west on Talbot Street from Fairview in some ways, because there's not a whole lot of intersections except for into the warehousing bays just up on Burwell there at Harts Mountain. So that's my first one. Okay, thank you very much. If you can just answer that.
No problem. Through the chair to Councillor Wookie. So the limits of work are on Talbot Street are from the bus stop kind of across the road from Briarwood. It doesn't involve the entrance to Briarwood. And then on the other side, it's 100 meters or so towards the east. That being said, we are always, our plan is to always maintain traffic on Talbot Street. 2 lanes of through traffic at all times in 1 lane in each direction.
Okay, thank you. A supplemental, please. That's good news. And now for the folks at home, turning left, heading southbound on Burwell at Talbot Street's always been a death-defying experience if you're there at the wrong time of day. Can you just explain what's happening with that intersection to make those left turns heading south on Burwell at Talbot safer?
Sure. So the intersection is getting a dedicated left turn lane heading in the both on Burwell and on Fairview, heading in the northbound and southbound directions. Those left turn lanes will no longer be offset the way they are today, but they'll be aligned so that vehicles will be able to see oncoming traffic, which they can't do today. The other thing that's really going to help that situation is the removal of the bridge and lowering the grade so that the sight lines are so much better.
Councillor Wookie?
Thank you. Just one last thing. It's just a comment, and this is for the general public. Like I always, I'm interested in what our budget is and what the project's going for. So I made it kind of a offhand joke at budget time that I was going to bet on the engineering department, and they've come through here. This come in $1.2 million under our budget. So that provides lots more money for trails. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments. Councillor Clark, please.
Let the viewers know what the reduced elevation will be at that intersection.
Sure, that bridge is going to be removed and the grade is going to be lowered by approximately 3 meters.
Is there anything further from the committee members? All those then in favor? That item carries. Next item, please.
Your worship, unless there's any further items for this committee, we'll now move into corporate governance and administration. First item relates to the City of St. Thomas flag. A motion that report CMO 1825 relating to the City of St. Thomas flag be received for information, and further the council authorize communications staff to explore the potential for a new city flag. Moved by Councillor Wookie, seconded by Councillor Taylor.
Questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, I'm sorry, Councillor Peters.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. I don't support this. I don't see anything wrong with our flag. I think our flag does an amazing job at symbolizing our past, and it's still pertinent today at symbolizing our future, particularly when it comes to the commitment of transportation. And with PowerCo coming on stream, we are still going to be a community that is focused on transportation. The Builders Square of St. Thomas symbolizes growth. We're going to be a community that continues to grow. The spoked wheel of 7 townships around Elgin County, with St. Thomas being the hub, nothing has changed. I do not like the fact that this was initiated by a private business. This was not a survey that was presented by the city of St. Thomas. This is a survey that came from a private business through the Downtown Development Board. If it ain't broke, we don't need to fix it. And I don't see that there's anything wrong with our flag, that there's nothing wrong with the coat of arms of St. Thomas. And I support status quo, and I respectfully request a recorded vote on this. Thanks very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any further comments? Councillor Clark, please.
I concur in some way with Councillor Peters in terms of all the symbols. I'd like to see the historic symbols involved, but since we've rebranded and we're using different colors, the white and I don't know if you call it maroon or what that other predominant color is. To me, it may be just a matter of retweaking the colors of the flag and incorporating and continuing to incorporate most of the symbols that have served us so well in the past. So I'd be open to investigating it.
Councillor Wookie, please.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'm just going to echo the same thing that Councillor Clark said. I don't have any problem with seeing some other designs, seeing what come up with. Like, you know, this works, but if there's something that works better, great. And I think that we would have a wealth of opportunities to review this before a decision was ever made, and maybe we'll decide that we keep the same one. Thank you.
Councillor Herbert, please.
Through the chair, I concur with those 2 thoughts from Councillor Clark and Councillor Wookie. I don't have a problem if we look at something, but I'm happy with what we've got. So I'm not sure if we're doing a recorded vote, I would not support doing a new flag unless there's some change in the wording that we could look at something new and bring it back to council, then vote on it. But I like what we've got. So I would say no on a recorded vote. So,
Thank you. If I could get, yes, Madam Clerk.
If I could just clarify that the second part of the motion is for communications staff to explore the potential for a new city flag, just to explore the potential.
Thank you. I do have a question, if I could, of the author of the report or to the city manager. How many places do we have the City of St. Thomas flag flying?
Hi, thank you, Madam Chair. We have 13 locations where the flag currently flies. It is flown at City Hall, both fire stations, the police station, Joe Thornton Community Center, Memorial Arena, Pinafore Park, Pollution Control Plant, Public Works Service Center, Valley View Home, the airport, the Doug Terry Sports Complex, and the LNPS corridor.
Thank you. Is there anything further from members of the committee? Seeing that, then a recorded vote has been called. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
On the motion, Councillor Clark,
Yes.
Councillor Gibson,
Yes.
Councillor Herbert,
yes.
Councillor Kohler,
Yes.
Councillor Taylor,
Yes.
Councillor Peters,
No.
Councillor Wookie,
Yes.
Your Worship.
No.
The motion is passed. Next item on the agenda is relates to strong mayor powers. I have a motion that report CC 0925 relating to strong mayor powers update be received for information. Moved by Councillor Wookie, seconded by Councillor Kohler.
Questions or comments? Councillor Peters, please.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. I won't put the motion on the floor. I'll allow some other discussion to take place, but I would be, as much as I do support this, I would rather have the mayor present for this discussion, and I lean towards deferring this matter to a future meeting when the mayor is present, so that we can have a full discussion. But I'm not going to put that motion on the floor yet because I know it is not debatable. So I'll see if anybody else has anything to say.
Councillor Gibson, please.
I was just going to ask if we can defer it to the mayor's back. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. I'll go with Councillor Herbert, then Councillor Clark.
Sorry, Chair. I thought you were going to Councillor Clark first. When I read it, I mean, we've tossed this around like crazy for every time we read it, but the veto authority kind of caught my eye. It says, according to the mayor, veto certainly if he believes, interfere, etc., within 2 days after council voted in favor of the bylaws, he can do it. Within 21 days of the mayor's notice, council can override the veto with a 2/3 vote. So that does give us some leeway of doing things if the mayor wants something and he's really adamant about it. And then all of a sudden, 2/3 of council says, no, after 31 days, we don't want it. So we do have some control, correct? And that's what I'm saying? Is that Lisa or whoever?
City manager comments, please.
Yeah, through you, Chair, to the councillor, that is correct, and that is the way the legislation is drafted, that there is a veto power for the mayor. However, there is an opportunity for council to overrule that veto power. I want to speak to the timing of this report because, as we know, the mayor is not present. He is prepared to issue a declaration decision in the coming days with respect to the hiring of the city manager CAO. He wants to redelegate that back to council, as well as the hiring of directors, because as you're aware, we're recruiting a director of Parks and Recreation. And so those decisions will be forthcoming in the coming days. So we can defer the report and talk about it when the mayor is present. However, we wanted to make council aware of the legislation itself so that when you see that mayoral decision, you're not surprised by the content of it.
Thank you. First, Councillor Clark, and then we'll go back to you, Councillor Herbert.
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that it be deferred because it's not just the 2/3 vote. There's several other issues that I think we need to talk about in terms of delegation or whether or not we even want to proceed with strong mayor powers, or, you know, perhaps hear from the mayor as to his view on those, and whether or not he's, you know, in tune with keeping his thoughts for the full term, or if it's going to be debatable on each issue that comes forward. So I think we really need him present, or we could do an end run and really try and do something tonight.
City manager, did you have a comment?
If I may, I think I'd like to defer to the deputy clerk who can explain the legislation itself and kind of this element of choice. John?
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship, and the Councillor Clark. So the legislation is in place. There's no choice mechanism. Municipalities that have been given the powers have no choice to decide whether to have them or not, and only certain components of the powers can be delegated. So that's why we brought the report forward, as the city manager mentioned, for information, because there will be a mayoral decision coming soon. We just wanted to give council kind of a little bit more background.
Thank you for those comments. Is there anything further? Councillor Herbert, please.
Yes, through the chair, my other part of my comment was going to be, I totally agree that we need to defer it until the mayor is back. And if Councillor Peters wants to make the motion, I'd second that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wookey.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Procedural question. So when it says that there's 2/3 can essentially veto the veto, what is the notice mechanism that the council would have to do to indicate that they would like there to be a reconsideration or a veto done? Is that we can just do that under new business, or what is the mechanism by which that would be done within council? Or notice a motion. In that case, we have to provide 7 days notice. Like, how's that all going to work if we know it this time? Thank you.
Thanks, Your Worship. So a couple things still kind of being ironed out procedurally, but yes, it would have to be at a council meeting within that 21-day window. So the mayor does have to provide written sort of confirmation that he's planning to veto the bylaw, and then council could bring it up under new business or under the bylaws at the next available council meeting within that 21-day window.
Councillor Wookie?
Just to follow up, so then let's say the mayor issues a veto, then that's the end of at that meeting. And then at a subsequent meeting, it would come up on the agenda it could just pop up under new business, or it could be added to the agenda beforehand, just so it would be at a subsequent meeting. It's not like the mayor would veto it and 5 minutes later, 609 councillors overturn the veto or not. Thanks.
Yeah, that's correct. So the way it's worded too, that the mayor can provide notice that he's planning to veto in advance of the meeting, but he does have a 2-day window following the meeting that the bylaw was passed at to issue that. So if he does decide to wait, then it would have to be council bringing it forward at a subsequent council meeting.
Councillor Herbert?
So I'm going to ask one of these hypothetical questions. He vetoes, he puts something in place we don't like. We have 2 meetings, 2 council meetings, and then we decide in the 3rd meeting we're going to veto it, but we don't have a quorum. Can we go on record that we want to veto it, or do we have to have a quorum to veto it?
Thanks, Councillor Herbert. So just something that the way the legislation is worded, the 2/3 vote is the total number of council members, and it doesn't matter who is present at the meeting. So if there's missing council members, it still needs a 2/3 vote.
Thank you. I'm ready to call for the deferral, but I see that Councillor Peters, your hand is up. Go ahead, please.
Well, thanks, Madam Chairman. Even more so reinforced, and I will put the motion on the floor for deferral, because if the mayor is going to be coming back with already delegating authority back to us and hearing the deputy clerk talking about things still needing to be ironed out, using his words, I would rather have the mayor present and hear exactly what he's delegating back to us, hear exactly what the deputy clerk is speaking of when things need to be ironed out. And so I would move that this matter be deferred to the next meeting of council.
Thank you. A request for deferral, and
Your Worship, I do have a motion by Councillor Peters, seconded by Councillor Herbert, that this matter be deferred. And was there a request for a recorded vote as well? No?
then calling the question, all in favor of deferral? That item is carried. Next item, please.
That concludes the items under corporate governance. Council, unless there are any items from the members, and seeing none, council will now reconvene into regular session. I have motion that the recommendations, directions, and actions of council and committee of the whole, as recorded in the minutes of this date, be confirmed, ratified, and adopted. Moved by Councillor Wookie, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That item carries. Next item, please.
No reports of committees this evening. We now move into petitions and communications. First item is a request for a proclamation of Lemonade Day on June the 7th. I have a motion that council proclaim June 7th, 2025 as Lemonade Day in the city of St. Thomas. Moved by Councillor Wookie, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That item carries. Next item, please.
Next item is a copy of a letter addressed to the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier, from the town of Cobourg regarding Ontario Works benefit rates. And then the next item after that, last item under, oh, sorry, Your Worship, there is a question from Councillor Peters.
Councillor Peters, please.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. I'm not, again, not being present, I can't see who's in the chamber, but I'm just curious when the last time social service rates were increased, if there's somebody there that can answer that.
Coming and approaching the microphone. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Councillor Peters. It was 2018. So the rates right now for Ontario Works are $733 for a single person. And for anybody on Ontario Works, it was 2018.
Thanks very much for that update, Heather, and to Madam Chair. I would be glad to put a motion on the floor supporting this letter from the town of Cobourg.
Thank you. We have a mover, and Councillor Clark.
I'll second it.
Worship, I have a motion that council support the letter from the town of Coburg regarding Ontario Works benefit rates, and further that a copy of this resolution be sent to the town of Coburg and Rob Flack, MPP.
Questions and comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That carries. Next item, please.
Final item on the agenda under petitions is a letter received from the Catfish Creek Conservation Authority regarding the authority's approved 2025 levy and budget. Your worship, at this time, we'll move into unfinished business of council. If there are any items from the members. And seeing none, we'll now move into new business of council. Again, seeing none, we'll now move into bylaws. I have a motion that leave be granted to bring in the bylaws.
Peters.
Moved by Councillor Peters, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carries. Next item.
I have a motion by Councillor Peters, seconded by Councillor Clark, that the bylaws be now read a first time, referred to council and committee of the whole, and read a second time.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That item carries. Councillor Taylor, please.
First bylaw, please.
First bylaw is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held on the 12th day of May, 2025.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw, please.
Second bylaw is a bylaw to appoint a community emergency management coordinator for the city of St. Thomas, that being Jeff Topliff.
Questions or comments? Councillor Herbert.
Yes, through to Ortega. Is this a full-time position or just a part-time position?
City manager, please.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, to Councillor Herbert. That is an appointment made under the Emergency Management and Protection Act. Jeff Topliff is our current Deputy Fire Chief, so this is just an appointment for him to act as the CEMC as required during an emergency. So it's not any additional compensation. It's
No,
part
I
of his
just wanted to
duties.
know. No, I knew his first name, but I didn't know what it was. Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next bylaw, please.
Bylaw is a bylaw to authorize mayor and clerk to execute and to fix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the city and Alexander Kirshner. This relates to a grant acknowledgement agreement under the Community Improvement Program for the property at 90 Hinks Street.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Madam Chair, I rise to report the successful passing of 3 bylaws.
Thank you very much.
I have motion by Councillor Peters, seconded by Councillor Clark, that the report of council and committee of the whole on the 3 bylaws be received and adopted. The same be read a third time and gross, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carries. Next item, please.
No public notice or notices of motion. At this time, your worship, there is a need to move into closed session. I have a motion that this meeting be closed to deal with a proposed or pending disposition of land. Moved by Councillor Wookie, second by Councillor Gibson.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carries.
Your worship, if I could just note that we have 2 minutes until public meeting time. So perhaps at this time, it would be a good time to recess and then reconvene in closed session following the public meeting.
Thank you. We will recess for about 2 minutes. Councillor Herbert, we'll call a vote on this item, please. All those in favor? Thank you.
Your worship, I just have a motion first that council rise from closed session. Moved by Councillor Herbert, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
All those in favor? Carries. Next item, please.
At this time, I have a motion for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Wookie, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Thank you for coming back, Councillor Kohler. On the motion on adjournment, all those in favor? That item carries. Thank you all so very much. Be safe until we all meet again.
Thank you.